News time.
Yay!
If I remember where that button is. JK Rowling and Elon Musk are named in cyberbullying lawsuit filed by Algerian boxer Amain Khalif after Olympic win.
Damn it,
Exclusive!
I just covered this
20
minutes ago.
That's what you get for not coordinating with me on this, Suris. So now you lose all your audience and I just keep all mine.
And you get all of them. They're all here to hear talk. Well, you know what? There was something interesting about this that I found while I was doing my part on this. So the way the lawsuit is being handled is really weird. Instead of Elon Musk and JK Rowling being the targets of the lawsuit, Twitter is the target of the lawsuit, but not the platform of Twitter the way that you would normally go about it.
Yeah, it's anonymous persons.
Yeah, it's anonymous persons on Twitter so that they can get people who are even hiding behind aliases.
Yeah.
For this.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump is named in it as well. He picked a great time to come back to Twitter, didn't he?
He sure did.
So, yeah, no, the whole I'm happy this is happening, and I am hoping that it goes very, 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 very far, because I'm going to be honest, the transvestigating of Amain Khalif, it just pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah.
Because all it is gender critical people who their schema of what a trans woman is literally just unattractive feminine male. That's their schema. So they go, anybody who eventually they just get to the point where they go, anybody we don't personally find attractive must be a man.
Mm-hmm.
It eventually gets to that point. This is the end result of bigotry.
Yeah, and it completely rots the what's her name? I'm blanking on her name. Katie. I'm blanking on her last name now. Katie on Twitter.
Katie Montgomery?
That's the one. Katie Montgomery.
There you go.
Yeah, so she'll say that being gender critical rots your brain, and she will often post examples. And they're like Trump was sitting in an interview recently with his hands like in this sort of a position or whatever. And that's one of those things that the transvestigators, when someone they don't like does something like that, they'll latch onto it and be like, oh, that's a secret symbol meaning that they are trans or whatever. Like they're really a woman, or like only women would hold their hands that way. Or like some stupid shit like that. And she was going to make a joke about it, like post a joke about how Donald Trump must be trans because that's how the women hold their hands or whatever. But before she could get around to it, they really started transvestigating Trump and being like, oh, he's holding his hands like that. So like they were legitimately doing seriously the thing that she was going to do as a joke to show how ridiculous they are. So like they are beyond parody.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Like if you watch the video that Cameron did, I don't recommend it. Watch my cut of it. I took out most of it, but like, so, oh yeah, this is the other thing I was going to get into. Did I hear about them transvestigating Andrew Tate? Because like he was in a Speedo in one shot, and his penis was not very visible in the Speedo, so they were like
because he's
zooming
got a
in on
tiny
it.
Dick.
Probably, like that was my thought. I'm like, yeah, no, there could be a little dick in there.
He's got it in a little pouch.
Yeah, but
remember, this is the one who said that if you remember his I was misogynistic enough to accidentally become trans positive moment. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, so there we go. They zoomed in on that's Andrew Tate's taint.
Andrew Taint.
Andrew Taint.
No, he had a whole moment where he was like, "Would you have sex with a legitimate 10 out of 10, but she's got a penis?" Or would you have sex with someone who's like a 2 out of 10, but they've got a vagina? Now, none of you are smart enough. I am so smart. Here's what I'm saying. The 2 out of 10's like Hulk Hogan, but he's got a pussy. And the 10 out of 10's like Megan Fox. She's got a little, you just scoot it. Just scoot it. His actual fucking words. Misogynistic enough to accidentally become trans affirming.
Yeah, and as we discussed in my coming out video, I have now determined yes to both of those. I'm happy either way. There's
Fair
definitely
enough.
one that I prefer over the other. Hulk Hogan,
Jeez.
do me and my pussy, brother.
I need you to pound me, brother.
Oh yeah, no, that's it. Now, one of the things that I kind of want to get at, or not that I want to get into, but that I kind of wonder, I don't know the legal ramifications of this, so I don't even know if it's possible. Like, it might be that the victim in the case would have to be in England, but with the UK's libel laws, I wonder if Femaine could press charges or sue or whatever under that.
Unfortunately, it'd be very hard to hit JK in the UK, though. She's got like legitimate political influence there.
Yeah, but with UK libel laws, though, it is guilty until proven innocent. The burden of proof would be on JK Rowling to prove that the things that she said were true. And Emaine would not have to do shit. She'd just have to sit there and like, okay, show me where you found my XY chromosome. And then...
I lost my XY chromosome. Can you help me find it?
It's hiding with my virginity.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, like if you could get a suit going in England, that like JK would have to prove that she was correct in what she said, otherwise she's liable. So yeah,
liable for libel.
Liable for libel. Yep. But I imagine in that case the victim would have to be in the UK or something. Otherwise they probably would have done that.
Yeah, everything's basically been filed in Paris right now. Yeah. So it's...
I don't know what Progress Only clipped just now.
Pound me in my pussy.
There are a few things. There are a few things that could have been that were clippable.
There's plenty of stuff said in the last few minutes.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
I like that the mold in her house is kind of going viral, because it's probably not mold, it's probably just really ugly wallpaper or something.
It's funny to think about the mold going viral.
That would actually be funny.
Like, I will say this.
JK molding.
Would that Edgar Allan Poe was still around to hear about a famous author slowly going insane with imaginary enemies due to black mold growing in her house? Like, that's perfect material for him to have commentary on.
So, okay. Yeah, Rosina's getting it. But has anyone seen my marbles? I may have lost those. Okay, Toodles.
Oh,
whoa. And then Rosina says JK hasn't tweeted since then. Yeah, I was going to get into that.
JK hasn't tweeted since the 7th of August.
It's been a week since JK posted anything, and this lawsuit wasn't like public knowledge until the 13th. So like
she got a C&D.
Yeah, so she knew about it beforehand. Well, she got a C&D, or she got some sort of paperwork, and a lawyer was like, "Hey, you need to shut up right now."
I was like, "I'm here to represent you, but I need you to not fuck this."
Actually,
please.
Now that I think about it, I think a C&D makes more sense, because I feel like she would still be tweeting about just not that.
Yeah.
If it wasn't just a stop tweeting C&D.
I feel like any lawyer worth their salt, though, knows well enough that the correct thing to do when it comes to someone like JK Rowling or like someone like Trump, who are serial tweeters. Let's just go ahead and call them what they are. They spend a lot of time on the toilet just firing off tweet after tweet after tweet. Or in JK's case, if she's not tweeting, she's retweeting a lot of garbage.
Yeah.
I think a good lawyer sits down and says, "Hey, maybe put the phone down. Maybe don't use it like at all. Like, you have an option that involves using your phone. Take a different option, whatever it is. It could be cleaning up the black mold in your house. I don't know, something productive."
So I know this is not going to happen, but I like to think that there's a possibility that being forced to take a break from Twitter will cause JK to like realize what a piece of shit she's been for the past decade.
God, I wish.
Just like stop and be like, "Hey, life is better when I'm not terminally online. Maybe I should go back to the real world and do real world things. And hey, maybe even befriend a trans person and realize that they're okay."
The problem is, though, is that she actually has friends who are trans, because there's a whole grouping of like anti-trans trans people for JK.
Yeah.
which is insane. I don't understand. I don't get it at all. Although, because of this happening, of course, my YouTube feed's been throwing me a bunch of was Harry Potter ever good type of videos lately. And it's been...
I do enjoy those.
It's been fun to go down them.
Every now and then the algorithm sends them to me, and it's always like the same, like 10 or 12 videos. And I always watch them. And like, yeah, no. It's because, like, yeah, that's the thing. I did enjoy Harry Potter when I read them. I enjoyed the movies. I still enjoy the movies. I just don't like. I still enjoy the movies, but like I own them on DVD, and my kids have orders that if they ever want to watch them, they watch them on the DVD. They don't stream it.
Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. And like we have the books, and we have a copy of the books that are like older than my YouTube channel.
Yeah, and my books are the ones from when I was a kid.
Yeah, so we don't buy new books. We just reread the ones that we have.
Yeah, you just make sure that none of your money is going to her.
Yeah. So like, yeah, and I know like my couple cents that she would have gotten out of me is not gonna make even the slightest dent in her thing, but like I enjoyed the books, but like on rereading them and re-listening to them, it's like, yeah, no, there are a lot of plot holes. There are a lot of things that don't make sense. She was very clearly responding to fans pointing out plot holes in like there's like a 2-book delay in when like there's a problem, and then when the book after the problem book comes out, people will point out the problem, and then the next one she tries to fix it. Like that's what happened with the time turners. Like
they had to get written out.
Hermione has time turners, and then the next book that come out, like they just suddenly aren't in the plot anymore, and so fans start wondering like, hey, like you introduced this very, very powerful plot device that could just solve everything immediately. What happened to those? I'm like, oh, they were all on one table that got knocked over.
They were all in the Department of Mysteries.
Yeah,
and they have all been destroyed.
And then, of course, as Fennec is pointing out, we can't avoid the fact that she named the black man Shacklebolt.
Kingsley Shacklebolt. Yeah, there's
also Cho Chang.
Cho Chang.
Like it's actually two last names or two first names.
I want to say the Japanese woman, but then I realize I probably should be saying the Chinese woman, and then I remember maybe it's more accurate to say the Korean woman, but I have no idea because JK Rowling doesn't even know what fucking race she was. She just knows, oh yeah, Asian.
If there would be like, fuck, I was going to make a joke about if there was an Irish character, he would have been named Potatoes O'Malley. But, like, no, there was an Irish character. His name was Seamus Finnegan, which is, like, the most Irish stereotypical name that you could go with. Yeah, and then, like, all the different castles are, like, basically named Magic Castle, using Google Translate to put it into their language. And sometimes not even the right language.
Or the fact that for Africa, all of Africa, the entire continent of Africa has one wizarding school for all of Africa.
But then just the UK gets its own wizarding school. Yep.
So the thing is, I will say this in terms of Harry Potter. I still very much enjoy.
I didn't make that connection either. The Irish character was the one that kept blowing shit up.
Explosives. Yep. Yeah. So I still love Harry Potter. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the books, and I have a passing enjoyment for most of the movies. I think that the first 2 movies were really good, and then the third movie went a little off the rails, but it did really well with like its weird musical segments. And then I stopped liking the movies more and more because as the books got thicker, but the length of the movies remained the same, the amount of things that I wanted to see from the books just didn't start getting put into the movies at all. But either way, I think my love for that series has moved from something that I revere as like legitimately good writing to this is shit, and I recognize that it's shit, and I like it despite it being shit. And in some cases, maybe because it's shit, because there's fun conversations to be had about
absolutely
how
she dealt with slavery.
Yeah, how you mean didn't deal with slavery?
Yeah.
Oh, and
actively made fun of the one abolitionist.
How the slavery subplot was removed from the movies. The spew thing didn't even happen in the movies.
Minimized.
To
no, in the movies,
heavily.
In the movies, they actually made it worse because they acknowledge that the house elves are slaves, and then none of the characters advocate for their freedom.
Yeah, when I'm saying removed, I mean spew was removed.
Yeah, I know. But for some reason, Japan and Korea have the same wizarding school. Yeah, there's all sorts of problems with the map that she drew up.
But like, there's a lot of shows, there's a lot of things that I realize that I like, despite some of it being just kind of shit, right? Like Pokemon's in that same realm where outside of like Game 5, the storytelling in Pokemon is always legitimately some of the most awful RPG storytelling you can ever have. But I still enjoy it despite that. I think it's a big part of my childhood, and I still return to a lot of those stories. And I still like those characters.
Strongest storyline in Pokemon by far, N64 Pokemon Snap.
No. Funnily enough, I actually started replaying Pokemon Snap a few months ago. I got my N64 upscaler and just started going to town. But no, like in Pokemon Black, there's legitimately a Nazi-esque organization that is modeled after PETA that is actively trying to stop people from training Pokemon because they think it's a full-on animal rights issue. And they will literally, like, they'll gather people up.
Are they wrong, though?
That's the thing that makes it fun. Like, they'll literally gather people up in cities and hold rallies, like actual fucking rallies, trying to drum up support for their organization. And the one member of the organization you have the most interaction with, N, he doesn't use Pokemon to battle you that he's had for any amount of time. He'll literally go around the area, select the Pokemon he wants to use, he'll fight you with those Pokemon, and then immediately release them back into a wild. Like, he actually is very consistent with his beliefs, even though he comes around the other side and realizes he was wrong. But he's decently consistent with his beliefs, and I feel like that's a terrifying character too.
That'd be like the equivalent of like still forcing chickens to do cockfighting, but just like letting them go after they're done their fight.
It's
like cockfighting's still wrong.
But so the thing is, you got to remember, in Pokemon, the only way that you can do physical violence for the most part is with Pokemon for one reason or another. So it's like that, but like if the only way you had to defend yourself was a gun, and you hated guns and you fought against guns all the time, but you happened to grab a gun to defend yourself because you needed to. And then you immediately discarded it. It's kind of how it's framed in there. And in the sequel, it's the only Pokemon game that ever actually got a legitimate sequel. In the sequel, you can find the Pokemon he released in the wild, just randomly as your encounters. Like, it is the most in-depth Pokemon's ever been in terms of what they've tried to do for their story. And the actual villain, because he's the foil, basically. He was a kid who was brought up to believe all these things. It goes into how like childhood brainwashing is bad, indoctrination is bad, religious fervor is bad. Like, that's all the messaging in Pokemon Black and White. Later on in the Pokemon series, the villain from that game, Gestus, when he comes back for one other game, for one moment, he just straight up beats a child. Like, he just straight up just engages in physical child abuse. So they're just like, no, this dude is a fascist on every level, and he's bad. And these are all the bad things he does, which Pokemon typically doesn't do.
Okay,
so
I'm going to say, because we were talking about Pokemon, when you said he straight up beats a child, I'm like, he beats a child in a Pokemon battle.
No,
like, nope.
Backhands Lily.
I was going to make a joke about that, how it sounded like you mean he beats up an actual child, but I'm like, nope, that is what you meant. So that's not a joke.
No, in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, he pops through a dimensional wormhole and physically assaults a child, a little 12-year-old girl. And afterwards, Culrus, a person who in the main timeline was an underworker of his, but hated him the entire time, just goes, man, in every dimension, you're just a terrible asshole, and proceeds to beat Gestus. That time with Pokemon, but, the physical assault of the child happened first.
Yeah.
The Shadow Wolf says they had Pokemon MAGA. Yes. Team Galactic, or not Team Galactic, that is Team Plasma. Team Plasma are Pokemon MAGA. In the sequel, you can actually find the reformed members of Team Plasma that are just like, no, my ideology was fucked up. I was a very bad person. I'm trying to make amends now. Like, it's a fascinating case study for how to do one of those game stories, and they've just never done anything like that ever again.
Okay. Let's move on from Pokemon now, since I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, I've played like maybe 3 Pokemon games in my life, and I don't remember any of them.
Oh, sad.
So, yeah, no, there was like one on Game Boy that I played for a while, and there was Pokemon Snap, and then I tried that Pokemon AR game.
Oh, Pokemon Go?
That's the one. I tried that one. I caught a Squirtle while I was on the toilet, which I thought was funny. And then I was like, what is this?
Me and Saki have actually been playing Pokemon Go just out at various locations in Georgia for exercise.
Yeah, no, my partner and I do the New York Times games, and the mini crossword, the one that times you and you're supposed to race it, we always like try and beat each other on that one. And I found out that while I was at the at BajaCon, I found out that Hemant Mehta actually, like, he writes New York Times crossword puzzles sometimes, so he also does the mini occasionally. Oh, so now I'm like, neat. Before I start doing a puzzle and be like, oh, this one's stupid, this one's dumb, or whatever, I'm gonna have to actually like look at the name now and be like, am I calling Hemant Mehta dumb when I?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, apparently my my nerd card got revoked.
So revokes Sierra's nerd card. I mean, so Vice Ryan is a little older than me, though. Like, I was in the prime generation to get like caught up in Pokemon.
No, I have not watched Full Metal Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist is very much worth the watch. The original series to a lesser degree, but there's a lot of commentary on world religion in both the original series and Brotherhood.
I started watching the new live action Avatar thing.
I'm very sorry.
It's okay.
It's better than M. Night Shyamalan. Better than that version. That's not saying much. I know.
I'm actually kind of surprised at just how bad the acting in it is.
Yeah.
Because like, but it's not just that it's bad. Like, I think it's a directing problem rather than an acting problem, because it is so consistently bad. Like, all of the people are bad in the exact same way. It's not just like this person overacts and this person underacts and this person doesn't know what to do in this situation. It's just they are all like, just the deliveries and everything are just like a little bit off in like the same way all the time. So I feel like
how it's like how with the original Resident Evil, the issue wasn't the random people they grabbed off of the street to do the acting. The issue from the top to the bottom was that it was a bunch of Japanese directors directing a bunch of Americans, asking them to talk more American. Like they had no idea how to make the delivery sound right for the people that they were having speak.
Yeah, it could be something like that. I don't know, but yeah, they're saying the OG show is so much better. I'm sure it is. I don't know. My partner's seen the OG show, and she's like, "Yeah, this one's okay." Although I'm pretty sure she's of the opinion that the OG is also better. Why are you disappointed in me? That I haven't seen the... Okay, so yeah, she's now revoking my nerd card too.
Yep, no, I agree. That's the right thing to do here. Now, Avatar is one of those shows that, like, when you finish watching it, you're kind of upset that you didn't watch it sooner. I waited several years to watch it, and I was upset that I hadn't.
As long as I'm pissing off all the weebs, I also didn't really like Cowboy Bebop.
That's just you not having taste. That's just you not having taste. I can't fix that. I mean, lobotomies exist, but that's still not going to fix that.
I don't know. Maybe it takes a lobotomy to enjoy Cowboy Bebop. Oh, good. I'm not the only one. Tasha also bounced off Cowboy Bebop.
Tasha also has bad taste.
And I'm officially a boomer, apparently.
Man, now I'm interested to see what would happen if we sat you in front of Kill la Kill.
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably Kill la Kill myself.
I should have seen that coming. I really should have seen that coming.
Okay, shall we continue doing what we're ostensibly here to do?
Sure, why not? We'll try.
Oh, Justice says I'd get horny, so maybe I do want to watch it.
Up until a certain scene with a certain character's mother.
At which point I'll never be horny again?
It's more that there's a... So the concept in Kill la Kill is that clothing is power. Various types of clothing give you certain abilities, powers, etc. And certain characters get very, very sexualized. I don't want to explain the reason for it because it's a legitimate plot point. And then you find out that one of the characters who is almost always shown in a very negative light, it turns out they're just a repeated over and over and over victim of sexual assault. And like 90% of the way they operate is entirely because of that. And it reframes a lot of how you've looked at her. It starts to make you feel a little weird and wrong.
Okay.
And it's done very, very well because the character that causes the problems is legitimately like batshit evil insane. So just add sexual assault to one of the terrible things she has done.
Conton says if you're talking about the live Cowboy Bebop, you're not missing anything. I didn't even know there was a live one. That sounds like a horrible show to try and make live.
Yeah.
Why would anyone even attempt that? I don't like Cowboy Bebop. I didn't get into it, but I can see the appeal. I understand the appeal, but like, I feel like live action would just ruin that. And Jess is saying there is no live action Cowboy Bebop, and also capitalism. Capitalism is the answer.
I think Jess is trying to gaslight themselves into believing there was never a live adaptation of Cowboy Bebop. Because okay. We live in happier times if those times don't include the live action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Mark Anthony, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full-time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full-time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.